So this is Sam. She is an incredible member of the team in the last 2 months who joined, I think, in the beginning of her summer internship for second year, at the end of freshman year, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the summer between freshman and sophomore year. And
Yeah.
initially we talked because I think one of your friends introduced you.
So at first she kind of was like, oh, I was looking for an internship position this summer, and I met this like really cool woman. She's from Singapore and she's a CMC alum, and she started her own company basically. And so she was going to actually take the internship, but then she accepted another position. And so when I was talking to her about it, she's like, oh, like you should totally contact her and just like talk to her about what opportunities might be available and see what potentially you could do this summer with her. And so I was like, okay, like that'd be cool. Like I've never done anything in marketing before, so this could be a completely new experience. And so then I reached out. Well, what I would say the most surprising was how much I feel like I learned. Like going into this, I didn't know that much about startup businesses. Like to me, it was just kind of like this foreign concept that like you've come up with like this idea, and then if it's a really good idea, then it'll succeed. If it's a bad idea, then you'll fail. But then I realized it's not actually like that. Like you can have a really good idea, but then without the work and like knowledge of how to be able to implement those ideas and to like get started, and like what resources to use, and like how to send out emails, how to reach out to clients, like even if your idea is like this brilliant amazing idea, you'll still fail. So at
Yeah.
first I thought it would be like a super just like not even really an internship thing, like because you mentioned that it was like in your own time, like just kind of do it like on the computer. And then so I just thought, oh, like this kind of like a side project. And so like maybe stuck with all like the nitty gritty and like just like small stuff that they would give to interns that like they're just kind of like do this but like don't get any experience out of it. And so that's kind of what I thought was going to happen going into the internship, but then it turned out to be like this hands-on, like just completely like immersed in the actual thing that you're doing, and you're just like you're part of what you feel like you're taking such a huge role in what you're doing, and you actually feel like you're contributing a great deal and that your work actually matters. So that was really cool. Well,
Yeah.
I definitely feel like it was really rewarding because of all the work that you put in. There's actually like you see the gain that you get out of it, and then like it's a process. So then you start off and you're kind of like thinking like, why am I doing this? Like it doesn't make sense now, but then now that we're at the end, it makes sense. And like everything we did at the beginning was just like the slow build up to like this final completed project at the end. And so like it was really cool seeing like all the small parts finally fit into like this one giant piece. Yeah. So like before I went into this, like I didn't know anything about marketing, and like just I feel like the like marketing things are so easy to apply to just yourself. Like now when I get like emails from like websites I sign up for, I like read it and I'll be like, oh, so they wrote that for that so that I would click on this link and buy it. But no, like you're not gonna trick me now. And so it's just really interesting to see how marketing is just used in so many aspects of life, and how like we as just consumers just kind of just buy into that. And then it's also really useful because I like found myself writing an email the other day for one of the clubs I'm in. I'm like, oh, like come out to this event. And then like I just saw like all the words I was writing was just, it was so similar to like the emails we sent out, and like getting people to come to my event was just like getting people to click on the link. Super cool. And so like the skills I learned in marketing, I think can be applied to almost everything. And I definitely wouldn't put aside marketing, like a marketing career, because I just think that it's so interesting. And so I would definitely look into that in the future and see what opportunities it could hold. Yeah, so I think one of my more frustrating experiences was just we would be working on, say, like a video, for example, and then like I would finish the video and then like show it to you, and then somehow like every single time like I would like go through it and like make sure it'd be perfect, and then somehow like the next time we catch another like mistake and then have to go back and like redo it. And so like that was just super frustrating, like because I'd be like, oh my god, I thought like I caught everything, and then like it turns out I didn't, and then just like going through again and again and again. And so like towards the end I felt like I knew like the video or like the script. And so it was like those experience, and then like also like email writing, like just making sure like every single word is like fits in there and like serves its purpose, and that like each sentence or like each like even period or like exclamation point was like right, so that then it would like perform the task that it needed to do. And that like, so that was, I wouldn't say it was super frustrating, but at times it was like, like why, like this is so like normally I wouldn't notice like what difference an exclamation point or like a comma here or like this extra sentence here would do. But then at the end, like after seeing like the results, then I was like, oh, like that was the thing that made the difference. And so even though it was frustrating, the end result kind of made it worthwhile. On one hand, it's super convenient because you get to do it from the comfort of wherever your computer is, and then it's not like so time consuming that you don't have like an outside life and that you just sit in front of your computer all day. And so you kind of have the freedom to do what you want to do, which isn't like normal in a regular internship where you just kind of sit in an office all day staring at a computer monitor. And then at the same time, you also kind of get that firsthand experience. And so like every day I'm talking to you, I'm meeting with you, and I get to like communicate directly to you like, oh, like I have this problem, or like I did this, and or like this part is done, like what else do you want me to do? So just having that firsthand experience and like just seeing what this company is all about, I think is extremely worthwhile. And so I would say like the experience that you get out of it kind of trumps the like the paid portion of the internship. Yeah. It was really awesome working with you, first of all, because you're just so positive all the time and you kind of just exude this energy. And even if things like didn't go as expected or like just things went completely wrong, like you were like you didn't get frustrated. And that was a really good mindset, especially for me, because even if I felt frustrated, seeing you just like in that positive mind frame really helped me to be able to think like, oh, like this isn't the end of the world, like we can still fix this, and like there's always some way around it. And so that was really awesome. And just being able to listen to all your experience and get to share and like the work that you do, and getting to kind of just like look at like what type of clients that you serve and like the type of people you work with, and like all the workshops and speaking things that you've participated in. So that was really cool. And being able to work with you and to learn like firsthand from your experience was really awesome. And I really loved how you like took the time to kind of just, instead of just diving into work, you'd be like, oh, like how was your day to day, and like ask me about like my hobbies, like what I like to do, and like get to know you as like a person, and you would want to get to know me as a person. So that was really cool.
Oh, yes. What other major things have you learned about maybe yourself or like, you know, in the last 2 months?
Well, I learned that like planning is really important. So like if you put off something that you think isn't going to take a long time, then and then suddenly when you're doing it, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is taking so much longer than I expected. And then the end result is kind of something that wasn't something that you would feel proud to have produced. And then because of that, then you have to go back and like do it again, and then you end up spending even more time on it. So then like to better use your time wisely, I would say, is to just do it at the beginning. That way if there's like anything that you have to go back and fix, then you have plenty of time to do it and to be able to just kind of like do it properly and do it the way that you wanted, like envisioned yourself doing in the first place. And then at the same time, like if you start earlier, it's better so that it's easier, so you don't lose kind of momentum, because then if you start late, then you're kind of just rushing through, and then you're not kind of doing the work like to produce the best quality of work you possibly can. You're just kind of doing it to finish it, and then it just turns out not the way that you expected it to.
Interesting to just kind of work with you and see how many smaller decisions you're taking on your own to just get to the outcome. Because I find that, you know, in the beginning there's a lot of training involved, but, you know, even in the conversation we had today, like I started seeing, like, you know, your problem solving all along the way as well, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was very rewarding experience. The thing I'm most proud of is just building the membership website. Like I feel like it's like my membership website baby almost.
Yeah.
Like starting from the ground up and then inserting everything and then learning how it works. Because at the beginning it was like nothing's going in, like nothing's uploading, like I can't get it to show up the way I want it to. And so it was just really frustrating at the beginning working with it, just like kind of grappling with everything. But then like once you kind of like once you get one thing, like then everything starts falling into place and you're just like, oh, like this is pretty simple, like I think I got it. And then like slowly one thing comes after another, and then the whole process just becomes a lot more smooth and you're just kind of like flying through it. And so I think the thing I was most proud of was building that membership website and like taking apart and like being able to say like, oh, like 8 tremendous transformational questions, like I took a part of doing that, and like the audio. And so like the thing I was most proud of was being able to see like kind of the mark that I had left on each thing that went into the membership website and like the membership website itself. And so that was a really rewarding experience. Just stay organized, and then it's good to kind of research what you're doing before you go in, so that you're not completely just overwhelmed by like the sheer amount of work you have to do. Like a lot of times I would look at something and be like, oh, like this is so much work, how am I ever going to finish this? But once I got started and I kind of looked into and researched what I actually had to do, then the amount of work didn't seem that overwhelming, and then it actually seemed like something that I was able to do and I had the capacity to be able to accomplish.
Awesome. Could you give us a specific example?
Yeah, so before this internship, I never used like GarageBand or iMovie before. And so that was a completely new experience. And like just going into it, like once you click into like GarageBand especially, you just see all these like weird like sound wave tabs and these knobs, and you're just kind of like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
These meme, like how am I supposed to edit anything with this? Like I don't know. I don't even know where to start. Like where do I even upload my file? And so it seemed really, really daunting and hard and like impossible. But like once you go into it and like you research it and you research like, oh, like how to use GarageBand for like for like people who have never used it before, like for beginners, like and
GarageBand for dummies. Okay, just give me the easy way out. Like just what are the important buttons? Yeah.
Yeah. So like YouTube tutorials were super helpful.
Yeah.
And then like there's a lot of people out there who also like struggle with the same thing. So then once you've learned it, then like you feel really good, and then like the more you use it, the more familiarized you get with it, and then it becomes super like easy, and then it's just the process becomes a lot faster.
How did you manage, like how did you even manage your time? Because I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are going to ask, like, how do you work remotely? How do you schedule your day? And how do you still have time to, you know, you went to Taiwan between the internship, and then you had like beach days with your friends. So how did you do it so that you could still do the work while having your vacation?
So it was really helpful for our Trello cards to write down each step and to clearly outline what we were going to go over the next day, and to just have down what we wanted to have done for each day. And so just having that in my mind, I could more carefully like go over like, oh, like, so, and on the Trello card I would organize it by like, oh, this one will take me the most amount of time, and then order it towards the bottom where it would go, like these would take me the least amount of time, like they probably wouldn't take that long, it's just a little bit of like sentence changing or whatever. So then I would try to do the like longer ones early in the morning, so then I could, so once those were done, then I knew I could go out and then have fun, and then once coming back, then I could finish like the smaller things and not feel like that pressure to finish it. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So for those of you guys who don't know what Trello is, it's a system that we use to manage our schedule and our day and like what we talk about on a day to day. Do you remember that one moment that just kind of like that where you were like, okay, like I got this, and then it started flowing? Do you remember what that was? Yeah.
So it was the moment where I kind of clicked like publish each separate course and module within the membership website, and then like clicking preview and like just clicking through everything. You're like just kind of like, wow, like, oh my god, it finally works, like everything links up, like yeah. So that was a really great moment, like just being able to click through and being like, oh, like that just downloaded, it didn't download before, like now it's downloading. I feel like I had a really like whole and just rewarding and just inspiring kind of experience here this summer, and I feel like it's something I'll carry with me moving on forward, and I'm really glad to have done it.
Of course. Yay.